Hello everybody. This is not so much a prepper show and tell of some of my food storage, but more than that, it's just an accountability for myself, and I thought I'd share it with you guys. This is where we keep most of our home canned stuff. We just haven't really been canning a lot of stuff. Just recently, within the last year, started like trying to mass produce our home canning, and just to try to save money. And now that things are really getting expensive, now we're going to start having to grow more of our own stuff and can more of our own stuff. So this is just, as you can see, it's a little extra bedroom we have in the basement, and that window still lets light in, but that window over there I have a tablecloth, and it stays, it's pretty dark in here, so it satisfies the dark requirement. But I thought that I would just show you guys a little bit of it, and also so I could go back and maybe in December and watch this and see if I've made any progress. So these big jars down here, we decided to just put our dried goods in these instead of in Mylar. So the Mylar and the seal meal here, they would always fail on me. So far the wheat is held up okay, but I was just sick of redoing it. And these jars I can get at the thrift store for between $1 and $2 each, and whenever I see them I grab them, and I've been able to collect quite a bit. And if the shit hits the fan, then we're going to be eating a lot of beans. But folks, I don't want to be a doomer prepper channel, homesteader channel, but if all these people are correct and we're headed for some sort of economic collapse, that's not going to last me very long, me and my family. Those beans and that little bit of oatmeal, that's not very much at all. So we also have our buckets, of course, and these have just wheat and pancake mix, rice and pasta, stuff like that. But then up here, those are empty jars, so those will hopefully all be full. This is my meat shelf, which needs to be, in my opinion, at least doubled. So I pressure can, and that's ground beef. That's probably 80-20, maybe, I don't know. We try to get 90-10. And then there's chicken in the middle, chicken breast. This is rice and wheat and sugar that's waiting to be bucketized. That is the last of the applesauce. So that whole thing was full of applesauce at the beginning of the year. The canned meat we haven't been really eating a lot of because my wife was trying to save it because she didn't want to use it. But then it's to the point now where this is cheaper than buying fresh. So those are some of the reserve jars. There's also reserve jars down there and under there. So I don't know how many quarts there are, but there's a lot. So the plan is for future self to have this entire bottom thing full of, originally I had envisioned it as the kind of soup shelf. So I started on it last year, but I didn't get very far as I ran out of stuff. But those are some soups I canned, and my daughter's been helping out, and she also eats them. There's split pea soup and some bean soup and her chicken and dumpling soup. Also around October, you can really get a lot of good deals on different kind of squash. So those are pumpkins and butternut squash, banana squash, and I just use those in pancakes or whatever you want. You can just mix them in, or you just eat them as a side dish. And up here is pressure canned potatoes and, store-bought stuff. We're really trying to transition away from the store-bought. Now, the tomato situation. I don't know if any of you care, but hopefully you will. The store-bought tomato sauce was actually, in my opinion, I haven't done the math, but cheaper than making my own tomato sauce because, I don't know how much it is now, but it comes with 3 jars that you can reuse. Well, you can recan these. These are normal canning jars. So you're getting 3 jars, plus the sauce, plus these lids, which you can reuse. Well, you're not supposed to reuse, but I have canned with them and they held their seal and it was all good. But for now, we just use them for, sorry, shaky. We'll reuse them for like these jars. See, like right here, we'll just reuse them on those. So back to the tomatoes. my situation with tomatoes is I make something called, there's a big farm here that lets you pick your own tomatoes, so we'll go down there and we'll pick a bunch, and then I just make what I call tomato base, which is like just stewed tomatoes with salt and lemon juice, and then we can turn it into spaghetti sauce or salsa or enchilada sauce or whatever the heck you want to do. I still did make some salsa just to have it, but that's my plan. It seemed like the easiest thing to do, so I think I might start doing that. It just seems easier to can a tomato base and then add stuff to it later, rather than just having it like a section of tomato sauce and a section of stewed tomatoes and whole tomato. That doesn't seem like very practical. So anyway, like I said, this is just kind of a thing to keep me accountable to myself. These, we didn't want the green tomatoes to go to waste, so this is like green enchilada sauce made out of the green tomatoes instead of tomatillos. This is ghee, which is preserved butter. Uh-oh. Well, actually, I think it's already preserved. I have to look on that, but I don't think it needs to seal. Don't quote me on that. These are beets, and of course, everybody knows those are pickles, jalapenos, and our honey, at least raw honey from the local place, is down to 1 quart. That's not good. So what are my goals? Let's go over my goals again. I want this whole bottom shelf to be full of soups, stews, and maybe squash. This next shelf should be all vegetables. Potatoes, tomatoes, celery, corn. That's what this shelf is going to be. This shelf I'm going to make, like the princesses, this shelf is going to be all condiments and jams and jellies, which we actually been doing a really good job. This jelly we made from our grapes, and that one jellified. This one didn't really. In case you're wondering what this white stuff is, that's the hard water, and that's why when you'll watch my canning videos, I'll always put a splash of vinegar in the water that it's canning in. I forgot this time, so that's why that's there. This one too. But if you put the vinegar in, it turns out nice and clear. So the meat thing, well, actually, the meat shelf I want completely full and then overflowing to the top there. This next shelf I want to be all applesauce, peaches, and pears. And then the bottom, I don't know what I'm going to do with that. But anyway, hopefully this will give you some ideas on what you can do in your canning situation and your emergency preparedness food stockpile. We've been kind of focusing on toilet paper and stuff like that lately. Of course, I have this other aisle here. That's like all our gear stuff and more gear stuff. And then this is the dry goods. So there's like cereal and pasta and disgusting Cheetos mac and cheese, which was way salty and gross. And then other stuff on the bottom. This might look like a lot of food to people and to serious prepper people. You know, this is nothing. This is prolonging my own starvation. So I'm really going to kick it up a notch this year, and hopefully you can follow along and watch as we go. Thanks for watching.